Hey guys, it's Orlando with Filmmaking, and today we're talking all about music videos.
When my mind gets tired of waiting, it'd be wasted time to save this. Is it so wrong? I wanna walk away from all the changes.
Music videos sometimes can be some of the most fun projects that you can work on, mainly because you never know what you're going to get.
You never know what you're going to get.
Not only could they be performance videos, studio videos, or even storyline videos, they help you pretty much flex your muscles a little bit. So today I'm going to discuss 6 ways that music videos help me level up in my filmmaking career. Tip 1. One of the things that I love about making music videos is that you get to test out all kinds of new gear. The very first video I worked with some Sony interlaced camera that could shoot in 24 frames per second. That it looked great on CRT TVs. No one had moved on to 720 1080p TVs. You mainly had interlaced TVs, so it wasn't that big of an issue. But once it started coming out everywhere else, it just looked terrible. And as I progressed, I got to test the Red camera on music video. I got to test Canon cameras. I got to test all kinds of stuff. On this latest project that I worked on this week, we got to use a Canon FD lenses. I've used other sets of Canons, but I hadn't used this particular set of FDs. So it was pretty fun to just get a whole new set that from someone, rent it from someone local, and just go crazy with it and see what it gives you. You never know. Focal lengths. What kind of camera you're going to be on, so the frame size. So you get to test out. Another cool testing ground that I was able to work with was anamorphics. I was able to do a lot of testing with anamorphics. I have some where I used a Cook with an Iskorama lens to get a really wide look. I used an Amira with Atlas anamorphics to get a really wide squeeze. I also have used Atlas anamorphics a lot on different projects that I got to learn them more and more as I went along. So that was one cool thing that I could, people always want to be creative on music videos, and you never know. You might use that one really grungy lens or that one fisheye lens. On music videos, they're so creative that you get to test out new stuff all the time. Just recently, we used like a probe lens to do like this really cool eye shot that just came out really nice. There's a lot of things that are really awesome about being able to test new gear, especially when you are using it on a music video. There's many things that are forgiving, things like the editing and all that stuff. Now, of course, if you're doing this project for someone else and they have very strict guidelines, you probably can't test out new gear. But when you're doing them yourself, you can go crazy. You can use a VHS camera. You can shoot film, whatever you want. So one of the things that I do love about it is testing new gear. With learning new gear also comes new techniques. And that's another thing that fascinates me about doing music videos, is that I get to test out new techniques all the time. There's projects that I was able to use wire cams. Before I did them in narratives, before I did them in live events, I used wire cams on music videos. I also did... like I said, I used anamorphics. I also got to use a Movi for the very first time on a music video. This is back when they were first released. We got to use a Steadicam for the first time on a music video. A crane, a techno crane, we just used on a pretty cool music video as well. So I always love music videos to be able to experiment new techniques as well. Where you get to create some cool things like using top down or POV shots. Being able to create cool sequences that allow you to just whip pan the camera, or even do some lock shots so that you can do multi-layering and things like that. So we did this really cool effect where we got a probe lens, stuck it right down into a Sprite bottle with some syrup-like material, and used that to put it as a background for one of our music videos. So that's the one thing. That's the second thing that I love about music videos, is that you also get to test out new techniques and get to do new methods to get something cool for your music video. And then not only do you get to do it for your music video, you get to carry this along. You get the knowledge and you get those things that you can use when you're on a set for narrative or for a commercial. When they're like, hey, we really like to use a probe lens for this. You've already done it. You've already used it. So I really like for all that experimentation that you get to do, and you get to learn all these methods. It's awesome you get to learn about gear. Awesome you get to learn about new methods, new techniques. Also, the cool thing is that you get to work with some very cool people. So some of the first music videos that I worked on, I was able to work with art directors or people that are just artists in themselves. There's this really cool guy that we worked with that collected masks, pretty much a gas mask. He had like a collection of like 20 of them. And we're making this video for a band called Otenki back in the day. This is, to me, probably still one of my favorite videos. We shot it with the Red One MX, and we got to test out the Steadicam, a little makeshift Steadicam. We got a homie of ours called Vincent Montezuma to come down and bring us a really cool jib. There was like a 20-foot jib that he built, and he designed and fabricated himself. We had cool locations, and the song was pretty cool too. With that said, we got to work with this art director who was like, oh, I also collect PCB boards and computer stuff and wiring. And I was like, cool, man, like, can you help us create something cool in that world? It's like some kind of revolution's happening against the machine. Every band wants to go against the machine. He of course made us a cool little like server box with a bunch of wires hanging out. It looked like people were like being connected into it. To me, it's one of the best looking music videos we've done, especially because I think the budget for that video on our end was like zero. Like I didn't get paid to do it. And I took it as like, hey, I want to try to put all my efforts into this video just to make something dope happen. And overall, I think it came out really, really good. I know they paid for the edit. If you look at it, I was kind of trying to copy a little bit of like Terminator 2 with that like
trust me,
orange and teal. And this was back then, 2000. Oh man, it was at least in the 2012, 2013 era. So working with different crew, art directors, production designers, like that is super important because they literally create everything for you. And I would say that if you're a music video director or someone that's mainly focusing on music videos, you got to partner up with art directors or production designers because they will make everything amazing for you. And putting more money into the art side of stuff is going to propel the visuals and the looks. I as a cinematographer, I usually ask if there is an art director or production designer or a stylist on set, because if I know they will have one, then I know that my life is going to be a little bit easier, because when I'm stepping into the room, things are already going to kind of be fixed, and they're going to have some really nice placement and different things like that. And we get to discuss those things, especially when we have pre-pro and all that. So don't sleep on getting an art director or production designer or someone that can just help you, a prop master or stylist that can help you to get some really, really cool stuff on your set. So tip 3, of course, is art director or crew or specialized crew that helps you knock out certain things. We also had a car rigger, my friend J-Mac, who came out for this last project that we're on. He is just a car rigger extraordinaire. He actually can rig. He rigged onto roller coasters and stuff for Coasting Thunder. I don't know if you've seen those guys. They're from Woodlands. Really cool guys. They have a really cool page. Follow them when y'all get a chance. They create some of the coolest stuff. But the roller coaster stuff, I know that J-Mac, if he can rig a camera onto a roller coaster, he can definitely rig an Alexa to one of these cars. So you find someone that's specializes in it, and that's what you want. So finding that crew, finding those special people that can just give that little like extra punch to that music video is all you need. And then those are the people that you will use along your career on your narrative and on your commercials, which is what I do with J-Mac. I use him on my commercials all the time. He's one of the key grips. So, he's been on everything, a lot of stuff, all the higher end stuff that we do. He will always have a job on our set. 4 for me is locations. Is like you get to find some of the craziest locations on music videos. That's the one thing that I do like, and that might be another specialized person. You find someone that does locations, that can scout, someone that can, especially if you're traveling to another city or to another town, you want to find a scout. You want to find someone that can get you a location, because a location is everything. Just recently, we were working in Texas City. We got some really cool visuals for that. We were able to create the treatment for this artist, and they sent me a treatment that had like mountains and all rivers and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, man, we have none of that in Texas where we're based at, which is Houston. So I was like, let me mold your treatment into Texas City and let's see what we can get. The location for Otenki, it was this factory, like we're right between a factory that was releasing all this smoke. It's you can't even get that shot now because they've already demolished that area and demolished that factory. But that location was everything. We went and saw it, and I saw the smoke coming out. It was actually a coffee company. It had this really cool visual aesthetic of just in the background that you could that you can't really manufacture even back then, 2012 or so. Locations are everything, and I think that's one thing that you need to focus on as a music video director. That if you find the location, you walk onto it, you're like, this is it, this is the spot, and that location will bring up the production value, but you also have it in your bank, right? You throw that into that visual bank that you got for tomorrow, because maybe you can come back to that location. Many times I've done that where I'll find a spot that's really dope for a music video, and maybe we can't afford it, but when a commercial comes along, boom, you got the money for it. Now you got the aesthetic, you got the place, everything just works out. So don't sleep on locations either. That's something that's super important. You gotta find really, really cool spaces. One of the cool videos we did for a dude called Chingo Bling, he had a home office that they were leaving. The day they were leaving, they decided like, hey, let's shoot a music video here too, and we designed a whole thing based around where he was living, and it worked out. Like it was already halfway empty, and we were able to like quickly like set up things and get some cool shots there, and it was fun to be able to do that. So don't forget, some of the spaces that you're at, that you might be able to use them. And my last tip is ultimately experimentation. This is one of the ones that I love, and I talked a little bit about it, and especially when we're talking about new methods and new techniques. What's cool about music videos is that it's pretty much your playground, and you can create some really cool, unique things, whether that's in the edit, in the cuts, whether that's working with the people, building new storylines, creating something that's different. I mean, it's kind of endless. We have several music videos where I would try different things that I had seen on other films, like this infamous Spike Lee shot where you have motion, like you have the person sitting and they're on the dolly and they're being tracked. We did that on some projects, and I thought that was really cool. Back when it was cool to have tube lights in your film and your project, I was able to work with the lighting designer to get some cool effects. Running with one of the bands that we worked with called Haunter. It just made the video. The video was ultimately simple, but we were able to add some dynamics by bringing in a Steadicam guy and then adding an LD, a lighting designer, to map all these Astera tubes through DMX, and was able to play different things through them, which was great. So that was really, really cool. Bonus tip. So me as a filmmaker, I'm very, very particular about the projects that we take on. There's been many projects that I take on that I have full control. And that's mainly the ones that I work on now. The ones that, I think I've proved myself enough to be able to have full control of the project, especially the ones that we're directing or my brother's directing, that we hold the budget, we help create everything, we get you the art director, all that stuff. And there's many projects that you might do. Like I've worked for a lot of the top record labels, and I've done some of those projects with them. But the things that they said were on the storyboard, the things that they said they wanted to do, they would add things last minute. They would make things go way too late. They just kind of destroy all want and desire of even working in this industry sometimes. So I'll tell you that, like as a filmmaker, music video director, and all that, like. Be cognizant of your name and your story and what you want to do and what you want to represent when you're doing these projects, because there's a lot of projects that I jumped on that I thought one thing and they would turn completely different. So it's one extra recommendation that I give you to just think about what you want your career to be. Ultimately, we want to just create stories and tell people and show people that if you're a cinematographer, you just want to literally lens stories, right? You want to show the visuals. You want to be able to tell stories and help adapt stories that people can see and feel and all that stuff. So music videos is fun. It's a playground ultimately, because you also have music that's carrying along the story, and there's some iconic music videos out there that I myself like just love, that I look at it and I'm like, man, these are awesome. I'll tell you that if you're on your music video journey and you're trying to figure out what that's going to do for you as a filmmaker, take them, do the projects, experiment a bit, get to meet new crew, people that are going to help you out in your filmmaking career. Don't forget to learn new methods, try new gear, and do all that and the above, and find some really cool locations. And I can't wait for you to make your next music video. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to follow. I drop a video every single week. My goal is ultimately to show you a little bit of my life, what I do as a working cinematographer based in Houston, Texas. Just grinding it out and getting work done, but also sharing a little bit of my story of what I've done and what I'm hoping to accomplish. I'll talk to you guys really, really soon. Peace.
Oh yeah.